Buenas noches, everybody. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 17, Round 20 of the Championship. Welcome to the Mexican Grand Prix. I'm your host, RC, bringing you into the sixth to last round of the RDL season. Still plenty of time left for things to change in what has been a highly dramatic championship. And we now have three contenders all sat in here running for the Drivers' Championship as Haas continues to run away with the Constructors. Qualifying getting underway here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. As I say, I am your host, Zach RC, and looking forward to taking you through the next 2 hours of what should be a very exciting evening of racing indeed. Kicking off then with qualifying Q1 getting underway, as I say. 18 drivers currently with us. Not sure if we get any more joining on later on in the session. Imri, the first car on the racetrack, we'll get a glimpse of him going around here in the opening couple of moments. Only a few cars on the track. Pope is out there very quickly as well, his teammate. Pope in the last corner, going back into the pit lane, so we won't see a lap from him this time. Of course, the second week in a row we head out to our RDL feature the day after the real life Grand Prix in the same location. Of course, yesterday's Grand Prix in Mexico, very dramatic indeed. Sainz taking the win. Lando and Max coming together in quite unfortunate circumstances. Max Verstappen with a 20-second penalty. Let's see if we can avoid any track limits penalties going that high this evening here around our own Mexico in the virtual sense. Here comes Imri then off the last corner. The Silver Arrow charging through, still looking for his first win of the season, and on course now for his first time lap of the session. Charging down towards turn one. It's a long main straight here. Take good advantage here with both DRS straight from lap two onwards, and of course the race start will be crucial. A long run down to this first right-hander leading into the almost immediate left. With speedy carries there. Fantastic start to the lap. I want to avoid that sausage curb on the exit. Keeping it within the track limits. DRS once again out of turn at number 3, and towards the first split we're looking at a 28-1 from Imri. Imri's been fantastic in qualifying throughout the season as he continues on into the slightly more technical part of the circuit, sector 2. Around past the grandstands and now looking for the chicane. Into the left-hander, keeping it nice and controlled. Although I've worked over it too much, track limits are crucial at this part of the circuit. DRS in play once again. There's 3 DRS zones on this circuit, the last of which comes on down towards the stadium section. One of the main attractions of the Mexico circuit. Into the final split now. See what Imri's got lined up in terms of a total time. That first benchmark to beat. Into the final right-hander. Into a long, sweeping, connecting right-hander. And towards the line, Imri's first time, 1:14.3. I did that all in one breath. That was quite a fantastic lap there for him. Really good start to the session for the Mercedes driver. But of course, plenty of time for the drivers to top that. Pope retiring from the session early on. I'm being told the game's been sent him out without a setup, so we might see him in a few minutes or so. Just asking what went wrong, and we might be able to potentially have him join us for the remainder of qualifying, which will be fun to watch. So just one Mercedes car in the session. Imri goes second fastest, 1:15.1. Imri on the medium tyres. So perhaps a good sign for later on that Imri's quite quick on the yellow walled tyre compared to the red one. Rejay out here for Ferrari. Of course, Ferrari still fighting Aston Martin in the race of the Constructors Championship, in the race of P9 Constructors Championship, with Che goes fastest. Daniel Aaron and Flying Duck both setting lap times as well. Dan going third, Flying Duck fourth. RB down to third place in the Constructors standings. But Che on into P1, the first 1:13 of the night. Eight drivers coming through, setting times very quickly there. Ben over the line, 1:16.2 to kick things off. 2 seconds slower than Red J's time. And there is Gaming James, your now former championship leader, led the championship for the majority of the season so far, and losing it. Just a few races to go to Landlord. The gap now sits at 24 points, but Salve Grumio is 29 back in the championship. So all of a sudden, he's become a major player in the race for this Drivers' Championship, because he's come up awfully fast the last few races. He's won the last couple of rounds. Victory in Singapore, victory at Kota. If I look further down upon my stats here, excuse me, sorry. So victory in Azerbaijan, he won the race there. And have the win in Monza, second place at Singapore in the end after the stewards report. We won the race on track and Kota victory. So Haas has taken the spoils in the last 4 Grand Prix on repeat. And we're looking here to see who will next emerge as a race winner. James, of course, still hunting for his 5th win of the season. Grumio has since then exceeded his count. So Grumio now leads the championship in terms of race victories. But crucially in points is his teammate Lando, who still tops us. James coming through now to start his first flying lap. We're keeping an eye on him. Of course, Landlord not with us at the moment. I'm not sure if he's joining us later on, or not sure if he's with us tonight. So this could be a big opportunity for both James and Grumio to try and close some points in the standings. All of a sudden bring this championship right back up to condition. And we're licking our lips potentially at the prospect of 3 drivers potentially making it to the last race with a shot at the title. Che retired from the session. Che comes down as second retirement, but of course the top time in a minute. James over the line, then 1:14.4. So Grumio and Imrie both also retired from the session. But James putting himself in there right behind those guys. Of course, Imrie and Grumio have been 2 of the fastest drivers across the last couple of weeks. Of course, had a fantastic scrap for the win at Kota last week. Grumio came out on top in the end. And Imrie, as I say, continued to hunt that first victory of season 17. Dan retiring P5 right now. He's done a fantastic job so far. So this game up to P9, 1:15.9. Curtis just in front of him, 1:15.6. Number of good contenders and heavy hitters in the field as of right now. JB across the line for his first flying lap of session. Still holding on to 8th place in the Drivers' Championship. So they're behind Websy and Cott, the Sauber pair, who are in 6th and 7th, and PJ behind him in 9th. His intention is to still continue to try and hold on to that top 10 in the championship, but way wide there out of turn 3. You're not trying to avoid doing that for the remainder of the lap. 28.6 is his first sector. We'll keep an eye on him here over the next 2. On board with McLaren here as he runs in towards the game once again. Got into P3 there, up on the board, 1:14.199. So about a 10.5 behind Grumio. In front of Imrie. Of course, Cott also chasing his first victory of season 17. Took 3rd place in Singapore. In terms of recent results, it's the best run yet. There's only points in the last 5 races. JB over the line, P9 on the board for him. Of course, the bottom 3 will go out the session as it stands. Webster to P6. Sauber doing fantastically well. Still holding on solely to 4th place in the Constructors' Championship. I'll have a further look here. Sorry, I keep pausing, going back and forth. In terms of points, Sauber, but very much safe in 4th place in the standings. RB looks set for 3rd. James has been tackling the 2 Haas cars up front alone, more or less. The former Flying Ducks fallen off considerably since the start of the season. Of course, those 2 were running away with the championship early on. And I think it's safe to say both James and Duck have fallen off from where they were earlier in season 17. Hopefully we'll see the pair of them recapture their form in time for these last 6 races. Obviously 6 including tonight, 5 to go after this one. Next time out we'll be looking at Brazil, then Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and the finale, the European Grand Prix in Portimao, which of course will be the reverse grid finale. Everyone looking forward to that, as they always do. One of the highlights of the season, and we could potentially see battles up and down the grid going into that race, so we'll keep an eye out later on in the year for that one. Slightly shorter stream, of course, one you don't want to miss. It's one of the highlights of the season almost every single time. 10th Cannon, of course, made her debut last week, scored points as a reserve. This week she's reserving in the Williams. And already up to P8, channeling her inner Colapinto there. Fantastic job from her so far. We'll keep an eye on her as the session obviously progresses. Q3 appearance last time out, and I believe a P7 finish, or a P8 finish, I could be wrong. Alvar in the Alpine, both Alpines out on the racetrack right now, and both looking potentially advancing into Q2. It's tight at the minute. Alvar is into the pit lane. Did a lap on the medium tyres there. 1 minute 15.4. We'll see what Curtis pulls out the bag here as he runs down towards the end of the first sector. The only car on the racetrack right now. He's almost 3/10 up on his previous first sector. So keep an eye on this lap. This could be a good one. Oh, going wide there on exit. Commentator's Curtis might have shuck Curtis a bit too early there in the lap. That'll cost him some time. He's going to slow up and try go again. Unlucky stuff for Curtis. Here's Obsessed Gamer. Of course, Obsessed doing fantastically in qualifying as of late. We have a Q2 appearance last week. Of course, we didn't actually get the broadcast down again, so apologies on that. But hopefully we'll see both Aston Martins advancing into Q2. And we have an arrival here in the chat, and there's commiserations in there as well as welcoming into the commentary box. Season 11 champion Touch Me Pope. Pope, what went wrong out there?
The game's a bit terrible. I'm gonna keep it PG for now. Yeah, the game's a bit terrible. We read it up probably a little too early, and nothing worked. And I tried to get onto the setup screen, but it decided to send me out onto the pits. So I've got no setup. It's basically, to be honest with you guys, it's just an ego retirement. I just want to give everyone a chance with the race this week.
If you say so, but yeah, I mean, feel free to obviously get back into the old commentary role for the remainder of qualifying. Obviously, we'll have to boot you for the race, as you know. But
I don't want to be here for the race anyway.
Oh God.
You'll hear me screaming.
Yeah, I don't think we want to see that on the stream unless the chat makes me aware that that is in fact what we do want to see. But of course, a number of drivers already calling it a day in terms of Q1, including in 6 of the top 8. As of right now, Che on top, Grumio second, and Cott in third place. Imri fourth, and James at your top 5. Is there anyone particularly you see in there looking at a chance perhaps of winning this race?
I think everyone has a chance. It's gonna be really good this race because the DRS is there. If you have a setup, you're in with a chance to have a good result as Curtis. Fantastic lap goes into P6 with a 1:14.5 dead. Great lap from the Alpine. Really stepping into some stride, I would say, Curtis, in that Alpine team. But yeah, I think everyone's got a chance. I mean, that run to turn 1's gonna be great, but I mean, for myself, it's gonna be a long one, no doubt.
Of course, Mexico notorious for obviously DRS serving a big role. Especially there's 3 zones, and one of them coming down that long main straight towards turn 1. How crucial is that going to be in the race today?
I think it's only going to be crucial on those last 5-ish laps when people are starting to get into position. You'll see moves constantly through there. It'll be hopefully a very good, entertaining race for those watching. But the most serious moves, the moves that will decide who takes the checker flag first, will really happen in those last 5 laps.
Of course, we saw a fantastic end to last season for us. Came down to a very late 3-lap restart, to my mind. Or I could be confusing that with season 15. But it's a fantastic ending. I hope we get more of the same today. JB retiring from the session. Of course, he's quite close to that drop zone there. But I mean, obviously, 2 more spots of drivers to go out. Of course, obviously, you'll be taking one of those 3 spots at the checker flag. And as of right now, it looks like Connie Gomes in the drop zone. But he yet set a lap time. He's out on the racetrack, though. late on in this session, as he often does. And Ben, right now, P16, only 2 tenths behind Red J, so plenty of time for things to change still. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah. Yeah, just looking at thingy is, I believe that's a bit best up. Imri on the mediums, crucial there. Using a bit of mediums, I think that to me is already indicating that he's going to go for that one-stop strategy. I probably shouldn't say that because he's my teammate. However, I've just gone straight back into that commentary role. Scrubbing those mediums, it might help the tyre warm up, but you really don't need it around the circuit. So it's Alvar as well. Keep an eye on those 2 drivers.
And keep an eye out indeed as we continue on midway through this. My control went over for a second. Alvar on outlap, Red J also on outlap. Of course, Ferrari still fighting Aston Martin for that place in the Constructors' Championship. P9 on the line between the pair of them. Both teams trying to avoid finishing last at the end of the season, but it's still quite close between them. So if things stay as we could go to the next 5 races and be thinking about potentially fights opposite ends of the grid in terms of Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship in the reverse grid finale at Portimao, which is always a chaotic circuit, to the least.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we've done Portimao in this league. I believe it's only twice. I mean, I got very unlucky, I will have to say, in the first time we did it in season 11. I was absolutely doing well, and then my Wi-Fi had a fit. So technological issues and end of RDL seasons are not my best friend.
So I have to wait and see there in terms of hopefully this time you'll be able to make the flag come the end of the season in, of course, 5 races time. This season's flown past without doubt.
Indeed, sorry. It caught me eating. I didn't expect to get rebounded. Don't worry at all. But yeah, no, this season's absolutely flown by. I still remember having a treacherous start to this season. So yeah, I feel like at this point I'm kind of ready for the new season. I'm not really fighting for anything. However, these championships are so hot. It's incredible. Obviously, we're still fighting RB in that Constructor Championship. Hopefully, gonna be able to extend our gap today, though it's going to be tough with me obviously starting dead last. But I mean, the champions are exciting, but I mean, for myself, I'm P4, might drop down to P5, obviously with this race not being good, but we're going to try and keep that P4 spot. And yeah, I'm ready to move on to next season. I'm very excited for it.
Looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to Q2 now. The checkered flag has now fallen. Still a risk potentially. Courtney Goblin, as of right now, is going out. He's past the flag. But Obsessed Gamer can still get himself into... Actually, scrap saying that. He's 7 seconds down the first sector. This could be it for the Aston Martin driver as Red J looks to get himself through to into Q2 by the skin of his teeth in the end. Look how close that gap is there between 15th and 16th. 0.526 to 0.573. That's just over half a tenth in it. Very close indeed.
Yeah, it's a crazy gap. Then well done to Red J for getting through. I'm Red J. And Red J and Obsessed have been absolutely outstanding this season. Though the results might not show it all the time, it's the improvement from when they joined us here in RDL to now. Even as a driver, I'm constantly racing every week, and I still see these guys driving. I'm just so impressed, I do have to say.
Well, at the end of qualifying, then unfortunately, Obsessed Gamer does join Courtney Goblin and Pope in the drop zone at the end of this first part of qualifying. In terms of times, then Che tops the chart at the end of it. And of course, we have to keep an eye out on Imri on those medium tyres in P4. Half second off on not even the grippiest tyres that we have on offer this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the medium tyres are going to be really good no matter what. Obviously, they're going to be colder than the soft tyres. Those soft tyres are just going to overheat ridiculously. Maybe over one lap it will be fine. But you know me and my medium tyres from years back.
Oh, don't remind me.
Absolutely love it. Don't remind you, it's fantastic.
So while I sit here getting flashbacks, we'll wait to for the start of Q2 here. 15 cars, of course. 10 will go through to the pole position shootout. That is Q3. Of course, full qualifying has been fantastic over the course of the season. It's given us some absolutely excellent moments we'd never get with the old 18-minute sessions.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. Not when I get knocked out, but I'm a huge fan. Obviously, the past 2 qualifying sessions have been somewhat not great for me. Caught myself there.
You knew you were doing that. Come on.
No, you know me, mate. I don't have a filter sometimes. But Q2 underway. Excited for this one. This is going to be interesting. I mean, track evolution around this track, it ramps up dramatically the further on into the session. So expect some late laps in the session. Is that a Williams and a Mercedes nearly come to contact there?
Indeed,
in the pit
it is.
lane.
That would be That would be Imri, and that would also be Alva. I believe that is not Alva. That would be Ethan. The Alva is emerging out onto. No, it's not. My thing is all messed up. That would be 10th Cannon. It was emerging out onto the race. Well, she did fantastic in her debut last week. It was Q3 appearance, I believe. Was it P7 at the flag or P8?
P7, I want to say. Yeah, P7.
Fantastic stuff. Do you reckon we'll see more of the same today?
I mean, let's hope so. It's always great to have new drivers in here, especially when they've got the pace like 10th does. She is a real catalyst in these races, and it's great to join at this late point of the season because you can find your footing and then just go full guns blazing next season.
And we've seen that a few times. Look no further than, of course, the Sauber of Cott, who just a couple of seasons ago joined us around this sort of stage last season. It was well, not last season, season before, sorry. It was Japan, to be exact. That was around sort of round 17-ish at the time, and of course he came in and then proceeded to thrash the field over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, that was one of the most sensational things to like take a third person's perspective and watch. I can imagine the drivers being somewhat agitated by that, as Imri not having a teammate, but looks like to be giving 10th a bit of a toe here with the way they've set up this qualifying session. Keep an eye on that. 10th will have a lovely little bit of reduced drag in front of her Williams.
I think myself that the gap is probably a bit too vast to have as much effect as perhaps the gap between two teammates might. I think Imri's still looking himself here, but obviously on the soft tyres for this run, as expected, of course, there are two brand spanking new sets. They have one brand spanking new set for Q2, but of course Imri used those medium tyres and came straight back in, so he's got 2 sets of soft tyres to play around with.
Yeah, that is correct. Gonna probably see them used in Q3. I doubt they'll be saved for the race.
I doubt it as well. We're looking at most likely a one-stop here, so as it was last week at the Circuit of the Americas.
I mean, the one-stop and the two-stop will be, I think it'll be quite close. It depends on if people are sacrificing for the straight line speed. You'll be able to tell that probably within the first 4 laps. They'll be doing a two-stop. It's going to be right on the borderline.
And of course, a safety car early on could potentially, even at just the wrong point of the race, could throw things into chaos completely. I won't forget Grumio's crash here several seasons ago.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great for my race personally, but also for the entertainment of the viewer. Honestly, it can bring anyone into winning this race.
Imri goes fastest then to kick this session off, 1:14.064. 10th, 1.3 behind that. So this shows you the amount of pace that Imri looks to have tonight by comparison to what sort of time he was setting in Q1. That's a few tenths up on his previous effort, at least. Ben into 3rd place there, 1:15.3 on the board. Next to a few cars coming through. Ethan starting his first lap of the session. There is Grumio there coming towards the last sector. Of course, Grumio jumping into championship contention in the last couple of weeks, as I was saying before you joined us, Pope, during Q1. In terms of results in the last 4 weeks, we've been looking at first at Monza, first in Azerbaijan, second in Singapore, and first last week in Kota. Could he make it a 4th win from 5 today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, was Grumio ever out that title race? I say no. As Websy, I have to say, Websy is looking really racy right now. Excited to see what that Sauber can do, although it's not necessarily that helpful for me.
Of course, it'd be someone for you to fight during the race today, should you make it up towards the lead pack. Of course, ran well last time out in Kota. Of course, you had a decent scrap with the 2 Sauber cars, so all good there. Hoping for more the same this week. He's getting flashbacks a while live. Websy, of course, 6th.
Yeah.
Go on.
Carry on, please. No, sorry, continue.
Websy, of course, 6th place in the Drivers' Championships, 8 points off Imri. Of course, Websy, if things were to go to comeback, let's say, in 5 races, Websy would get that space because he has the race win this season where Imri doesn't. And that, of course, came from the
race win in Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Imri, I think it's the one thing that's kind of stumped Imri a little bit this season. Obviously, you want to get a win. I mean, I'm very lucky to have 3 on the board, somehow. But
lucky in the sense that you're yet to actually cross the line first and not win it via penalty.
Yeah, well, I'm just a clean racer, clearly.
I don't know about that.
It gets rewarded when you're clean.
You had a penalty when you won at Imola. I remember that. You had 3 seconds. Grumio fastest. Moving on from the legitimacy of Pope's 3 wins this season. Grumio sets the top time, 1:13.8. Pope, he is 29 points out in the championship, and Landlord is not here today. James is 24 back, so these two could find themselves with a good race. We could find if James wins it, new championship leader. If Grimio wins it, he's just sitting a few points behind. So it's going to be very tight when we lead this race if both James and Grimio have good days, which they're highly capable of doing, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. Let's say as someone who is obviously driving with these people week in, week out, I know exactly what they're like. You've got Che. No matter what track it is, Che and Grimio always seem to be together. Keep an eye out for those two. Imri will not let people have first in the race if he can have it. There's going to be so much aggressive fighting in that top bunch. I think it's going to be really hard for them to break away, truthfully. So I think this is what I've been saying, and I'm hoping that everyone's just so close together, everyone's going to be scrapping for that win.
It certainly all builds up to be looking like a very exciting race coming our way, starting about half an hour's time. Of course, Grimio and James looking to close in the championship. You're charging from the back. The Sauer's looking for a good run. Imri and Che looking to play wild cards up front. There's so much to look at going into this race. I'm getting more and more excited the more I speak about it. You can't see it, but it's like there's a massive grin on my face right now because I'm just so looking forward to it.
And that's what the audience is going to have here. Obviously, like you say, we've had such good races around Mexico in past seasons. It just always creates something good. There's always a safety car. There's always a bit of action, and there's a bit of rain potentially on the horizon.
Sorry? Go, please elaborate.
Yeah. Well, from my small glimpse into qualifier, which wasn't much, unfortunately, but apparently there might be rain on the way, so keep an eye out for that.
We'll certainly keep an eye out from here in the safety of the comms box, but we may have to send you back out into the rain like a dog at some point during the evening. But we've still got 7.5 minutes and another 12 or so before we have to boot you out for the evening until later on in, I assume, post interviews and things all go okay for you. Curtis up in P6 right now, one of the few cars out on the racetrack. Alpine looking at a Q3 appearance here. Alvar just outside of the top 10, about under a tenth and a half back from Ethan. We're looking at a Double Williams Q3 appearance at the minute. Both RBs are here, flying duck into P5 now, which is a vast improvement compared to his where he's running Q1. Red J, so sitting, of course, Red J, Che, JB and Dan, 4 cars who haven't set a lap time as of yet. We'll keep an eye out for these guys later on in a few minutes or so. We'll see where about they stack up. But of course, Q2 is always a bit more exciting than in Q1, I think, has to be said. Just down to the fact that we have, all of a sudden, there are 15 drivers who are all about the same sort of pace. And aside from the usual contenders, we know who's going to be more or less safe and who'll be scrapping. But we never know. We never know who will emerge from Q3 safe.
No, sorry, completely correct. You have to carry on. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I've got a mouthful of burger.
Oh, for the love of God. We'll continue on here. Luckily, I think Che's on a lap, so we'll keep an eye out for him here in the Red Bull. Of course, several wins himself this season. He's got 2 to his name since rejoining us earlier on in the season. Grimio retiring. He is more or less safe in Q3 for the moment as we continue on with Che's lap, and I assume we'll see him up into the top 3, into the top 10 going into Q3 these last couple of minutes, so just under half a session to come. So let's say plenty of time. As I always say, plenty of time for things to change. You never really know what could happen in these late qualifying sessions. Dan right now is in dead last. Imri goes fastest, 1:13.7. That's on that fresh set of soft tyres, as we discussed earlier. So Imri looking really strong here going into it. And we could be seeing another pole position from the Mercedes driver. If I have a look at my statistics here going into tonight's race, if I have a quick look at the Hall of Fame stats from this season, of course, Imri with 3 pole positions this season already. Of course, Grimio rules the roost on 10. He's got the most wins, most fastest laps, and most pole positions. So you can tell how quick Grimio is over one lap as Imri retires from the session safe in Q3. Cot retiring too. Could be a risk if a few drivers start to turn up the heat, but we'll have to wait and see there. Just in terms of who's got what. Tent Cannon sitting just inside the drop zone right now. Ben is right there closing about literally 1,000th of a second behind, and from there it's just under a tenth to Ethan. So everything all going on right now. 3 cars yet to set lap times, all out on the racetrack right now. Red J's on the circuit, not a fantastic first sector. I think he had to stop and wait for someone. Dan is coming to the end of the first sector. The Red Bull of Ben, Red Bull of Change is getting in the way for him. and JB on his out lap looking for a strong run. Because JB's gone back and forth in terms of Q3 appearances this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, some races JB's absolutely on it, like the car bonnet. And then, unfortunately, sometimes it's just missing it by just a hair. It's really always close with that McLaren. The McLarens this season has done fantastic, and JB in particular has done well. I'm not sure if you've done this. Obviously, Imri's gone back pole.
Yes.
With an improved laps of about 3/10, but he's wasted another set of soft tyres.
Could he
I just don't.
Could he use it for Q3? I'm thinking.
Well, he could have. It baffles me a little bit that you were completely safe, absolutely completely safe in Q3.
And
So why would you go out again? Obviously, Imri is got more poles that have been probably higher up in qualifying than I have, but even still, a bizarre decision there from my teammate, the Mercedes driver.
I think the only thing we probably don't track him here in the cons box is average positions over the course of the season. I have something to be able to look into myself. Of course, the majority of stats I get are from compiled by JB within the server, so obviously props to him for doing that. That's how I can pull out the stats about most wins, most pole positions, most fastest laps of the day. All of those things being stats to Grumio leads right now. So he's come alive in this in the last 5 or 6 races. He's turned it up and he's shot to the top of those stats. The only one he wasn't, he was in the top of before, I believe, was pole positions. He's got 10 to Imri's 3.
That is ridiculous.
And the sad thing, and the most hilarious part of that is that it's still not the best we've seen out of Grumio in a season, because we always go back to season 14, and the amount and the run he had of pole positions across that season. 18. It was what, 18 poles in 22 races, 24 races. Sorry. Actually, 18 from 23.
I think it was 18 from 23.
It was 18 from 23 because the 24th race we had no qualifying because of reverse grid.
Yes.
So we're counting 24 from this season, and he could have a maximum of 14 from 24. That's definitely not something to sneeze at all.
Oh God, no, not at all.
And of course, he's shot up in the Drivers' Championship, just under 30 points back with five rounds after this one to play, and he could find himself within 10 with the win. A victory here, provided that he outscores James by 5, a victory here could put him within 3 points of his teammate for the Champions League, after Landor has been points-wise the better scorer for Haas all season long.
Yeah, it's a bit like that on all fronts. I mean, obviously, Landlord's just been very consistent. I don't know how many wins Landlord's had. I'm not too sure. You might need to fact check me on that.
I
but
believe it's 3.
I think it's 3 as well as me.
Yes, so he won Jeddah, he won Spain.
Yep.
On penalty, and then he won Singapore after the shield support. Because Grumio took the
correct.
flag, but Lando won the race.
Yeah, so 3. So I'm on 3 as well. It's just that shows you the consistency Landlord's had of being able to get the points where the other drivers aren't able to.
And it's
massively impressive.
And this is a guy a year and a half ago who we thought was retired in this league. Or so we think back to the last race of season 14, which we thought was it from full time. He came back reserved 2 times at F1 23, and then by season 16 he was back in the saddle alongside Grumio, and those two in the Williams romped the Constructors' Championship, much like they're doing here. So the stranglehold these two have had on the championship as a whole cannot be understated at all. Now we will come back to the action here on track because we've only got 30 seconds to come here, and majority of the top 10 have retired here. Flying Duck is the one currently on the bubble at the moment by about a quarter of a second. If Curtis, Ben, Ethan, Alvar, or Red J can jump up, then we could see Ben go out here at the last in the dying moments of this session. Alvar coming through, he might only just make it to the line. I think he's going to scrape it across the line and start his final lap. Curtis into P8, and unless Ben's got something in his sleeve, that'll put him out. Ben just started his final lap, but Curtis into P8. As of right now, Dan's set to go through to Q3, Aston Martin Q3 appearance, which is always enjoyable because Aston Martin, I think, one of my favourite teams, I'd say, up in the comments box. Obviously, nothing impartial there, but it's one of the teams we'd like to see doing well.
Oh, I love the Aston Martin team. They have great memories in that Aston Martin.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
yeah, Alvar. Is he invalidated? Did you say?
Alvaro,
No,
he's just started his last lap. Yes, but
5 tenths up.
But crucially, Pope, he has still got to gain about another 4 tenths or so. So plenty of time for him to change things. He's got to nail these last 2 sectors. Ben retires, so can't top it. He'll be out. Alvaro is the one car who could potentially knock Dan out and put himself and both Alpines into Q3 here. Imri stopped the session. Grumio second, Che third. There's one of the Red Bulls pulling over to the side there, calling it in. I think that's Ben's car retiring. Alvaro has got to nail this last part of the lap in order to get himself into Q3, and we've seen it come close before. Has he got the gumption to make it into this last part? He's going to really push it around this last corner. Sliding there, that could cost him a little bit. Over the line though, has he done it? P13 in the end. He gained just under 7 tenths. Not enough in the end. Alvaro will not go through to Q3. Dan will advance. Curtis in the pit lane. And that could have been, I think, if not for that slide, that could have been a very dramatic end to Q2, Pope.
Yeah, that was very, very close, but as we were saying, Aston Martin getting through by a hair's width, a huge improvement as well from Alvaro, but just not enough.
So Imri then will go 1-all against Grumio in the fight for fastest in each session for pole position, and of course the most important one's coming up in just a few moments' time. Chain third, keep an eye out for him. Top 3 within 700ths of each other. This is going to be a close run in Q3. How crucial will the DRS be? Of course, Lano's joined us, so we'll get Lano in the race. I see him on the bottom of the screen there, but Pope, you will not start dead last. Lano will be jumping in right behind you, so we'll have to keep an eye out for you guys charging to the field. But still,
oh yeah, unfortunately he gets a setup, doesn't he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he wasn't in for Parc Ferme, so I believe he's got a setup, which is so frustrating.
We just have to manage as best we can over that. Not overly sure. We'll have to double check that with before the race gets underway. I mean, obviously, I'm not sure if he'll be allowed to put on a setup. Because obviously he joined late, so obviously he would have missed the last.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I'm still freeballing here to not infuriate you anymore. I just want to cheat up. We got Q3 coming your way right now. 12 minutes of the 10 fastest guys in the first 2 sessions, all fighting for pole position.
I am so excited. I mean, already looking at this. I mean, we need to look over our order in the Constructors campaign as well. Kick Sauber. The only team to have 2 cars in the top 10.
And I think that's the only time I had one team getting both cars into the for quite a while. So Sauber are up there. They might be stuff flying under the radar slightly by sitting in P4 in Constructors and looking locked there for the remainder of the season. I don't think they'll catch RB. I don't think McLaren will catch them. So they're locked there. But of course, with the one win from Websy this season, of course, Cott still pushing for his first win, looking to be the wild card. Potentially the Sauber need. Imri's up there as well as a wild card. Che is a wild card. These guys who don't have a voice in the championship picture, but could impact it in a huge way if they get a bit too dicey with any one of our 3 leaders.
I mean, exactly that. It's still all to play for. How many points have we got up now? We've got 5 races including this left.
6 races including this one.
6 races including this one. So you've got, what is that? Oh my lord.
So let me count it. So it's
26 every race.
Points to the win. There's 156 points left to cover. So that's 6 times 25. Okay. And then that's an extra 6 points fastest lap.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, that is a hell of a lot of points. I mean, still available.
I mean, it won't be, I imagine it won't be alive for much longer, though. But as it stands right now, you can still win the Drivers' Championship. Imri starts the last lap, or the first lap of the last session. But I mean, that just shows you how much still there's to play for. The fact that as it stands, you're P4 97 back, and you can still win the championship if you put it alive.
Well, it's going to start today, ladies and gentlemen. As you see Imri barreling towards turn 1. Yeah, that car looks very planted. We'll see what it's like in the race, but it's took that absolutely beautifully and is invalidated.
Wow.
After that thing. Track limits, I'm sure you mentioned it in Q1, Zach, but the track limits around here, expect a lot of penalties.
I'm expecting a lot of penalties over the course of this one. As in terms of whereabouts they'll be, it could be anyone here. Because obviously we've seen track limits penalties decide races before. all over the shop. I know you've probably been here a million times. I've mentioned this quote, but I'll never forget the time this guy here, Grumio, who was just invalidated in his own time, lost the win in Canada in season 12 in the closing laps, or not in the closing laps, in the final corner going into the last chicane, got the penalty there, and that was enough for Landlord to gain ground on him. And in the ensuing race in Australia, the penultimate round of the season, Landlord won the championship. And I always started to think to myself that Grumio didn't lose the championship in Australia. He lost it there on that race in Canada. As Cott goes fastest, start the session. Webb's into P2. Those guys are mighty fast. Keep an eye on them. In restarting his second attempt a lap. Curtis P3. James is coming through to start his lap. Grumio is in the stadium section looking to go again. Che is also validated. 10th is on her out lap looking to kickstart her first lap of Q3. She went into the pit lane though, so scrap that. And JB goes P4. So 5 cars set times and 5 very fast drivers still to set theirs. I imagine this could be the top. This could be the top 5 now too.
I think we might be in reverse order right now as they're pushing round, but this is exactly it. This is exactly what can happen. You never know with these things. As JB retires, doing one run, probably thinks he's got the most out of that McLaren. It's a great position to be in the top 10. Getting into Q3 as we see Imrie, I think it's going to be the first of the bottom 5 to set a lap time. Looking absolutely rapid, but those tyres are going to be screaming towards the end of this lap. Won't be his fastest, I'm sure the other run in Q3 will be better, but like I say, that's how much an invalidation can affect your whole setup.
Imrie goes second fastest at 1:13.6. Cott still holds on to pole position for the minute. Of course, Cott fantastic in the closing rounds, as always. He's still reached this point in the season. He's a victor here before, but if he won, I believe he won the race in season 15. I was referencing earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Che going through the last corner now, set his lap time. Grumio going back into the pits, so calling it there for his first run. Sorry, no, he's going back on the racetrack. As Che goes fastest, 1:13.4. Pope, this could be perhaps a bit of a long shot here, but do you reckon there's any chance these guys could do a sub 13 in this session? Because the lap time's gotten faster and faster. I doubt it. But you never know with Grumio. That guy's done otherworldly things in qualifying.
I'm having a look here. The lap times are matching the TTs of the drivers. I think maybe it'll be very hard, but never say never. If there's one person that's going to do it, it's going to be Grumio.
Keep an eye on the reigning champion, looking to go back to back and win. What I can't believe I'm saying is an 8th RDL championship, and I've been thinking about that a lot in the last couple of weeks. Pope, 8 championships. I know that obviously this is just a league thing, but this is something that it just seems that the best drivers on 4 wheels in every discipline of motorsport, no one can win any more than 7 championships. And Grumio here in RDL is on course to potentially, if he can keep he's going, he could win an 8th championship this season, Pope.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about it's a game. This is so tough. Like, I mean that for every single league on the F1 game. It's so tough. You're here week in, week out, taking time out your day. Obviously, you're doing something that you absolutely enjoy and you love, but you get frustrated at times. Things won't go your way. Exactly like me today. I'm absolutely fuming. I'm still here, I'm coming back in the commentary box. I enjoy it. I enjoy this thing, but committing week in, week out enough to get you 8 championships is remarkable.
And he's been here for how long? Well, it's probably I'm not sure if he was here since the very start, but 8 championships out of 17 seasons. That's the prospect we're looking at here. He'll have won just under half of the champ. If he can win this season and win next season, he'll have won exactly half of the seasons that RDL has ever been run, and that is impressive.
It's remarkable. It's remarkable. I mean, I owe a lot to Grumio. I think one of my first race wins was helped from Grumio. We were teammates. I won the constructors title with him. I do owe a lot to him, and if he does get this 8th championship, then I don't think anyone's going to have any complaints. But at the end of the day, James is still there. James has done fantastic this season. Slow down a little bit. I don't think he doesn't deny that, but he can always pick up that pace. And then obviously Landlord, who's been so consistent. It'll be very interesting to see what he can do as Grumio. Oh my lord. Wow.
1:13.3. And that is almost a second faster than what we were seeing in Q1. I think it's just over a second faster than what we were seeing in Q1, to be honest.
Track evolution round here is absolutely mental.
It'll get you indeed. 10th Cannon, the first car, back out to the racetrack. We've got one more run then coming up from everyone, at least one. One more run. Of course, we'll be looking. Those guys who validated the first round, we're looking to avoid doing that. Imri's got 3 tenths to close. Because all of a sudden, Grumio's turned up the heat massively.
Yeah, but obviously remember Imri has got a fresh set of tyres to run, and that time is set on worn tyres. Very interesting to see if that will just be the advantage to give. I'm not sure Grumio will have time to get another lap in. I think that might be it for him.
And how fast he gets back to the pits, but he's bolting it here at the minute. Although, of course, he was out for a previous run, so he may call it here, to be honest. Up to this point, he probably doesn't really need to go out for another run. He may have it sewn up. And just come back to what you were saying about the obviously how the argument that obviously this is just a game. I'm completely with you on what you said there, and even for me, I see it from obviously my commentary standpoint as well. And I absolutely love taking these Monday evenings, because especially during the European season, the actual F1 season, because when I can't watch a Grand Prix live on Sunday, this is the next best thing. And there are some races that are arguably more entertaining here than they are in real life. And I think you have to agree with me on that.
Oh, 100%. And I feel absolutely pleasured to be part of that. So obviously a huge thank you to JB, who put so much effort and time into running this league, and that's why it's lasted this long. Yeah, like you say, these races are arguably better than the ones in real life. At times, I absolutely love racing them. As you see, the Kicks Albers playing that teamwork card to absolute perfection.
The slipstream, the toe that Cott must have got there off Websy would definitely worth attempting. Let's have a look at the split here when he comes in towards the end of this first sector, and we'll see what the times are looking like. Okay, so it's not improving, right? But the amount of time that he must have got off that.
Honestly, you see it at Belgium really good, going through that last straight, the left-hand kink. You gain so much time through there, so imagine on this big old straight in Mexico, where the altitude's so high, so every bit of downforce matters. Yeah, that is going to be worth a hell of a lot of time, and it'll be interesting to see if Websy gets that toe repaid to him by Cott. As Cott down, maybe the track's kind of plateauing a little bit. We'll have to see what the other drivers are doing.
Track seems to be coming away from him as it stands right now. We've got a minute and a half to go, so I think more or less, if you want to get set in one more time, now it's time to do it. Grimio's on his outlaps. I think he may make it around just in time here for one more go. Yellow flag up in the first sector. That is 10th Cannon slow. I think he's just letting Curtis through there. Of course, Alpine looking for a solid run here to further enhance that Q3 appearance. Grimio, obviously, I'd say back on the circuit. Chase starting what will most likely be his final lap. Cott starting what will most likely be his final lap, and I think he's probably done for the session here. Websy is closing it. I think these guys are setting up for perhaps those to get a bit more of a no, Websy is not setting up for that. And I see Dasman down off the circuit. Down P10 right now, off the circuit, off in the grass there, letting the faster guys through. But could that be the end of his run perhaps? Because I don't think there's enough time to get back around for another one. As we are now into the final minute, Grimio is booking it around the circuit here. He's almost at the end of the second sector here. I'm coming towards the last one to push on. 40 seconds to go. Imri is right now P4. Of course, he topped Q2. Has he got what he needs here on those fresh tyres this time round to get himself back on provisional pole position?
He's low on ERS. He's marginally up, and being this low on ERS is going to really hurt the rest of this lap, as you're going to be derating, so you're not going to get a full deployment completely out. But just under a 10th up. Can he get it? He needs to go tight towards that wall. Hit the curb on the inside. Can he do it?
P3 for it.
No, P3 just beating out Cott.
It looks as though Chase going to improve here. He's 1 point. He's a 10th up. Oh, he's come close. Oh. Couldn't quite do it at the flag.
Grumio's got off, so his
last run's done. Cott into the pit lane. Here comes James. James into the final
once again
corner.
Just under a 10th up. The margins is so crazy.
James doesn't improve, stays P5. I think that'll probably be the end of it here. Imri is slow, Che is slow. Grumio's retired, and that will more or less be the end of qualifying. Grumio will nab his 11th pole from 20 races, Pope. That is a 55% success rate across season 17 full qualifying. We know who's enjoyed this style of racing the most.
Oh, I think you have to. I think you're completely right, and you also have to remember as well that Grumio wasn't here for I think 3 or 4 races. Did not start
If
3 or 4 races.
If I check my notes here, yes, there was 3 races. Grumio missed out Australia, Japan, and China. Those 3 Grand Prix he was not here for. So that's 11 poles from 17 races, which arguably makes it that bit more impressive, makes his rate that bit higher. But obviously less easy for me to calculate in my head because it's not like a even number there. Because my maths has gone off the cliff a little bit since.
Yeah, that's a very tough.
That's a number to get right. But regardless, though, Che and Imrie will come around to end their sessions here. P2 and P3, nothing to sniff at. We could see either one of those 2 cars jumping into the lead by turn 1. That's how long.
I mean, don't put anyone as far back as Websy to go for a lead. Zach, you're going to have an absolute pleasure watching these cars go 4 wide into turn 1, and I'm going to have an absolute pleasure sliding up the inside of all of them and taking P1.
You have fun trying to get as many places out of that first corner as you can. All I'll say is, as you see the top 10 results on our screen, that I wouldn't like to be you going into that first corner at the very back. Good luck trying to avoid any chaos that might run over into that first corner. But I'd like to let you go to get yourself ready for the race in the next few minutes. But there is the top 10. Grumio on pole. He'll lead Che, Imrie, Cott, and James to turn 1. I'll be back shortly for the start of the race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Mexican Grand Prix, and the heavens have opened coming into today's race. This is going to be a very entertaining one indeed, as rain pelts the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the 20th round of Season 17 of the Races Driving League season. There is a look at the circuit. 36 laps coming your way. Cott is the defending winner of this race and looking to go back-to-back and take his first victory of the season. 30 points, just under 30 points separating the top 3 in the standings. Landlord joins us later on. He'll start at the back along with Pope as James and Grumio both start in the top 5. Grumio on pole, James in 5th. Both those 2 drivers looking to close as many points as they can. Landlord looking just to limit damage from his starting position. And Pope looking to come back to the field. Imrie, Che, Cott, all serving as wildcards to the championship runners. Everything's to play for going into this one. And it should be very entertaining indeed. We're looking forward to getting it underway in a moment's time as we get the formation up going shortly. But all of a sudden, the race has been thrown into a slight bit more unknown down to the weather. Should be very entertaining indeed, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it as much as I am. Before we get underway, obviously I will plug things. Make sure to subscribe for for all future RDL action as we near this being the 6th to last round of the season. We've got 5 more rounds to go after today. Brazil, then Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and the finale in Portimao. As the formation gets underway, let's have a look then at your full lineup. Landlord joined us late. He's in the wrong car to start. He'll be driving the other McLaren tonight instead of his correct Haas after joining late on. Pope lines up to the outside of row 9 in his Mercedes. He's got currently gone for company in the Ferrari. In terms of starting tyres, we're looking at intermediates for everyone there. For this game, lines up P16. Narrowly missed out on his another Q2 appearance. He is beaten out in the end by Red J in the Ferrari. P14 for Ethan. Today the lower qualifier in terms of 2 Williams cars, but not PJ in the car tonight. Alvar lines up P13 for Alpine. He was also the second fastest qualifier of his team, being out qualified by his teammate Kirsten, starts from P7. Flying Duck lines up P12, looking to get some higher places across the race and help Visa Cash Up RB close on the stage in the Constructors' Championship as they continue to run away. Ben lines up P11, still gunning for some big points here. Still looking for his 2nd point score of the season. Dan lines up P10, good Q3 appearance for Aston Martin, looking to go one step further and score points in the race. JB lines up P9, one of his Q3 appearances in this season, and looking to cross the 100-point mark. If he finishes there, he'll take it to 100 points. Starting 8th place, 10th Cannon, of course, the reserve performed spectacularly on her debut last time out. Q3 appearance again, and it was P7 in the race last time. Can she improve on that today? Let's wait and see. Curtis lines up P6 for Alpine, looking to push Alpine further away from the bottom 2 in the championship. Webbsy lines up P6, looking to add to his 2nd win of this. Looks to add his 2nd win of the season to his collection, which of course the first which came in Miami a long time ago in the season. James, 24 points back from now on the standings, could, if he wins the race today, take the championship lead, regardless of how many points Grumio scores. Cott lines up P4, defending winner in this race, given around the last couple of corners to get onto the grid. Imri lines up P3, tops Q2, they have the strength in Q3 after a validated lap. Che lines up P2, the wild card and form winner around here in Mexico back in season 14. And Grumio looking for his 7th win of the season. 29 points back from the lead as he guns for what could be a record extending 8th championship in the RDL. We've still got 5 races once this one's done to figure that out. As Landor, the championship leader, takes his place at the back of the grid. He's got a lot of work to do today to get himself up the order and push on towards potentially winning his 4th RDL championship. Here come the lights for the race here in Mexico. Andale, we are underway here in Mexico. Decent gets away from both cars on the front row. Che jumping towards the left-hand side of right-hand side of Grumio's car. Long run towards that first corner. Che going side by side with the reigning champion who's forced in towards the grass. They go down towards turn 1. Everyone keeping it nice and clean, so sidestepping towards turn 1. Che down the inside. He'll nab the lead from Grumio by half a car. Then into turn 2. Grumio there again on the inside. He'll have the outside for turn 3. And there's a bit of contact in the back, but I saw someone's M plate go off there. It looks like everyone's kept it under control. Someone over the grass. 10th Cannon down the order. 10 has had a problem here. She's fallen back to P16 in the early going of this race. Che and Grumio still side by side. Grumio slides in front of Che. Caught the defending race winner here, looking almost spinning out in front of Imri. James around the outside of both cars. He'll take P3 from that, but it's Grumio from Che, James, Cott, Imri, Curtis, Webbsy, JB, Ben, and Pope already inside the top 10, making big moves here. He's up so many places here from the start. Around the outside of Ben, going into the chicane here. Ben's going to keep giving him a bit of room there, going through the chicane. It's close to contact. Oh, there he goes. Pope almost goes around, saves it just about. Can't you see what's going on in the camera angles? Ben going off onto the grass, onto the runoff there. And rejoining, right in front of Connie Goblin. And that could have been potentially quite problematic. But Pope almost maintaining position. He's got Reggie now for company on his inside in the stadium section. Reggie gets up in front. 1 place away from a point for Ferrari. Flying up P10 right now. But Grumio now leads Che. No DRS in play for the minute. Down to the fact that obviously we are in wet conditions for the minute. As to whether or not we'll dry up later on in the day, we'll wait and see. But still, good slipstreams if you had down the main straight. But can Che use to his advantage? Going down towards turn 1. Everyone all over the shop in the back. As you go towards turn 1, it's all single file on the top 6, 7, 8 cars. JB into P8, Dan holding on to P9, Flying Duck right behind him. Then it's Red J and Pope, Landlord and Cotley Goblin there from down to P14. Landlord up 6 places from that first lap. Pope is also up 6 places. Good start from both cars here, avoiding all that chaos and now pushing on towards the leaders. Curtis and Webbsy going side by side for P6 in towards the grandstands they come. Curtis on the outside's got a better drive off and will clear in front of Websy going into the next right-hander, but might slide up and allow Websy to come back in at the pair of them. JB behind them, looking to counter. Should there be any mistake from either one of the cars? Obsessed Gamer into the pit lane already here. He's been stolen to wet tyres. He might have to add some wing damage to repair. But Grumio only 3/10 in front. Chase not allowed him to get away as much as he might like, and James is behind him as well. Remember, a race win for James will be his 5th of the season and take him to the top of the championship, so it's all to play for him today. Going to these final 5 rounds, he needs to get himself back on form after some slightly subpar weeks by his standards. Going into these last few rounds that will no doubt decide the season. Cott in 4th, Imrie hanging on to this train in 5th place, but Cott is second back from the top 3 right now. Curtis and Websy will still dueling for P6. Curtis on the inside, JB following him through, and Websy hung out to dry there as James takes the fastest lap. Curtis defends the right hand side of the racetrack. JB around the outside towards turn 1. James Grumio side by side for the race lead into the first corner. James looking to try and make up any place if he can. Going through the first complex of turns in these first few chicanes. It's Grumio who leads, Chase still second, James still third. Cott running in 4th place right now. These guys 2 seconds off the pace of the leaders. Imrie right behind him, looking to try and make some kind of move. The lack of DRS is not helping anyone's case at the moment. They're going 3 wide for position, almost into turn number 4. Close to contact. They do make contact. Websy off the circuit. I'm not sure. I think I saw something fly off, but I can't say who it belonged to at this point. It's all just a bit of a blur at this point. Curtis and Websy still side by side. Neither one of them giving up to this place. It looks like Curtis might have it. Websy about half a car length into the first left-hander of this next complex, and Curtis gets in front. Look at this train here. Dan flying duck, and then Pope bringing up the rear. Unsure if the rain's getting heavier or not. It looks like it's getting a bit stronger. You can't say too much at this point in the race. Pope looking to challenge Flying Duck, going side to side, trying to find some kind of opening there, going into the right hand of the stadium section. They go. Pope gets in front of Duck, keeps it within the white lines, and will move up into the points paying places for the first time today. And Flying Duck, don't look now, but look is behind you. I know it's a McLaren, but it's the McLaren that this week belongs to the championship leader Landlord, who would normally be in a Haas, but this week has taken over the McLaren after joining us late on in qualifying in the Q2. Look at the slipstream play here. Kicking off all the way right up here for Curtis, up in P6, down to now Flying Duck in P12. Around the outside, Websy looking for the place off of Curtis into turn 1. Can't quite do it there, but keep himself in line, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Meanwhile, back up front, it's still these top 3, and Cott trying to close back in, but not having much luck right now. He's trying to get himself back within that 1 second range. DRS, I doubt we'll see it for a little while on this Grand Prix. On the track, have to drive a bit. It's this game all by himself there, back in dead last. The minute we need a safety car, so to get himself back up the order. Alvar and Ben, both of them plate losses on their cars. The little 4-car train here from P15 to P18. Then Red J all by himself right now in no man's land. He's trying to hang on to the back of this train. 10th count at the rear of the train now. And look, to take Flying Duck, who's at risk of losing 3 spots in a space of just under 1 lap. Meanwhile, looks like Pope will be looking to the inside of Daniel Aron this time. The former champion trying to outbreak the veteran. Going into the right-hander, can't quite do it. Landlord, another champion there. The pair of them, former champs in the past, now right there behind Dan and JB, 2 veterans. Cott sets the fastest lap. He's got pace now. Cott has turned it up. Almost leaving Imrie for dust at this point, but James looking for the lead. To go through and take it from both Che and Grumio towards turn 1, but the reigning champion still down the inside. These 2 have gone toe-to-toe before. Who comes out on top this time round? Grumio scything his way past both cars, forcing James off the circuit. Che takes full advantage because at the inside of both cars, double whammy, Che takes the lead away. And I doubt James will be too pleased with that. He's lost both spots as a result. And that's allowing Imrie and Cott right back into this fight. Imrie's the inside of Cott, into the right hander, taking full advantage of Cott, giving James a slight shove there into the right hander, but he cuts back into line. Won't go for the move for the minute. Look at keeping out these 5 cars. They continue racing on to the second sector. Look at the gap they've pulled here to the remaining that long train behind that goes down to P13. 6.6 separating Imrie from Curtis right now. Websy is the only one who's really keeping pace from right now. JB's almost a second back, and Dan's almost a second back from him, and Landlord's got over the place over Pope. So those guys fighting for the low points paying places right now. And as it stands, James will tire Landlord if he wins this thing. If Landlord can sit there in P10. Of course, Lando, the one that everyone has to catch in the championship, is Che claims the lead for himself down the main straight, and he's pulling away. James in front of Grumio here, down towards turn 1 once again. Looks like the rain has stopped completely here. And looks like we'll be getting some dry running here shortly, as soon as we see a dry line start to form. And we'll get an idea of that when the DRS comes back into play. It'll really impact these 5 guys as they gun for position. Curtis and Websy still going at it here. 6 laps into this thing, and they're still fighting over that same position, that same bit of road. Websy narrowly in front of Curtis for the minute. But keep an eye on these two. They go side by side towards the left-hander once again, wheel to wheel. Neither one of them giving an inch here. Curtis on the inside, looking for the exit. He won't get it. Websy around the outside, clears the Alpine and up into the 6th position once again. JB has his temporary teammate landed on his tail right now. Keep an eye on these two as they continue on into the 2nd sector. Dan has still got Pope company behind him, and they're leaving 10th Cannon and Flying Duck behind them. But will now be the target for Albar to catch up the road in P14. Courtney Goblin still holding off Ben and Ethan. Red J has come into pits for hard tyres, as has Obsessors coming for the mediums. And as the rain stops here, we get some dry tyres going, I have no doubt. Che coming in. Colin Emery joining him. The 2-time protagonists, James and Grumio, stay out at this point. Che onto hard tyres. What will Emery change onto? Hard tyres as well. I assume we'll see hards for Cotton as well. No mediums for Cotton. Cotton going for a different tactic there and choosing those yellow wall medium tyres over the whiteboard hard ones. I was looking at another stop in this race, and double stack as Websy comes in for Sauber as well. Double changing there, and they've made light work of that. Both cars away nice and easy, no real threats there. But JB jumping out in front of Websy, perhaps some slight losses there, but we'll keep an eye on these two as they emerge from the pit lane. And it shouldn't be too long before we get DRS going, but of course the tyres need to get up to temperature first. It's slightly colder track because of the rain. Crucially, 6 cars stayed out in all of that. James, Grumio stayed out as the 2 leaders. Landor, Curtis, Pope all together. 10th Cannon a bit behind. Those guys all stayed on the intermediate tyres. Everyone from Che backwards has now pit for hards or mediums. And Grumio hit with the 2nd penalty of the day, and the 2nd penalty to be handed out. And Conor Goblin get one too. That's 2 for 2 in the fact of a few seconds. Grumio dives to the inside of James for the race lead once again. They're side by side to the roar of the crowd in the stadium section. Grumio is making contact. These guys going back and forth with each other. Close contact again. They're still going at it here. Off towards the wall. James rests his way in front, but that was a bit too on the nose there in terms of fighting between these two. And that might have just been round 1 of what could be a race-long battle between those two positions. James into the pit lane first, then he'll change on the hard tyres. He's already away here. And Grumio looking at the medium tyres. Landlord's in, Curtis in, the top 6 all in here. Where is Cott? Cott comes out the lead. It's worked for him. Che into 2nd place. Imri, can he catch up? He might just stay in 5th place for the minute then. But Che, in the end, re-emerges to the race lead once again. Grumio down to 4th place here. Cott now in 2nd. But now on tyres that are 1 lap rubbered in. They won't get DRS just yet, but Che's got it though. He was behind at the detection point. So everyone now on to dry tyres, which is a bit more of a race now. Websy dancing to the inside of JB, the outside of the left at next corner, but JB has DRS and will jump in front. And Websy narrowly holds off 10th Cannon for the minute. Pope now in P12 around the outside of Daniel Aaron. It's fair to say that the Landlord's done a fairly better than Pope so far on that strategy in terms of the cars that start the back. Keep an eye on both those 2 cars as the race continues on. But Landor now just 8 seconds behind that lead pack. As James pulls the inside of Cott here looking for position. Cott locks up a little bit there. He's going to try and switch back, get away around him. But Grumio crucial with that penalty, and he can't serve that in the pit lane. That'll be tacked onto his race time. Oh, caught a bit of a wobble there at the last corner. And Grumio will get back on the home straight and charge down the inside of the reigning winner of this race and into P3 now. I know both have DRS on James, closing in as they go towards turn 1, but Che's got all to himself right now. He leads by about half a second and leads comfortably with no real threat DRS for a minute. But there goes Grumio around the outside of James in turn 1. How will these two race each other this time around? Contact, these guys wrestling each other here. And there goes Cott. And once again, another car looking to take full advantage of these two squabbling over the same bit of tarmac. And Cott on the outside of James, Grimio. Grimio looks to the inside. This is Verstappen and Lando all over again. Grimio going for it from quite a way back and keeps stuff inside. And James almost goes across in there. Emery gets involved with Cott. I think that's damage from the Mercedes car. I think that's his end plate that fell off. Yes, it was. You can see the back of Grimio's car. And Che with the penalty, he's pushed it too hard. He's got 2 seconds now, but 3-second penalty for him to be tacked on at the end. All of a sudden, this race has been quite difficult for two of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Cott looks to the inside, going into the stadium section. Will Emery pit for repairs there? Emery the penalty himself. And the race has gone down the drain quite quickly here for Emery. It's not over. Red J gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting and gaining a place. It's a while since a penalty of something like that. Che with the fastest lap here, onto lap 10. This Mexican Grand Prix. Lando fastest lap. He is on his way here. 6.2 behind the leaders now. Grimio around James to turn 1. James diving, going for a lockup though. And nearly came close to perhaps taking a Haas out. Pope fastest lap for him. These guys are on the move. Pope has no DRS. He's 3 seconds back from Flying Duck in P11. It's a huge train to take it up to more or less where Webbsy is in P7. Keep an eye on Pope. The advantage towards the lead pack. Che 1.3 to the good now. Grimio has made the pass on James and is closing rapidly here. So these guys are raising position regardless, but James and Cott now seem to be the favourites to win this thing. Unless, of course, these two leaders build a lead of 3 seconds or more, in which case they'll both race each other for the win. There's still plenty of time. There's 26 laps to go. 25 from across the line. Cuts the penalty. Look at that. The amount of drivers who now have penalties to their name. 11 drivers from 19. Red J with the most of 13 for that 10-second penalty, which of course he can serve at his next pit stop. If he doesn't pit again, he'll serve it at the end of the race. Che and Grimio setting fastest laps simultaneously here. James just out of DRS range for now. He didn't get it towards turn 1. Emery and Cott both did though, and Cott closes that gap a bit more. Closing Webbsy is sitting duck right now as they charge towards turn 1. And 10th, and just a second RDL start, getting right amongst the regulars and really pushing the limits of that Williams. Currently beating her teammate Ethan for tonight. Into left-hander and keeping it under control. P7 for her right now. Best you can do at the minute, given Landlord's closing on that lead pack. He's 6.5 back. So that run has stalled a bit, and the lead pack have obviously pulled away since the start of the race. So now DRS is in play for Grimio, who will close a bit more on Che. Is set up for the main straight, which is obviously the chance there for him to gain a full second if he uses that battery right. But he hasn't got much of it at the minute. But Che, look at how much he's got on his steering wheel there. He's got about 70%. If I had to get, it looks much ahead. It looks more like a 59 from that very blurry bit of the graph I can see. Grimio's got about a fifth of his left, but he's still at the fastest lap though, so he's really pushing for that bonus point. Red J gets another penalty for multiple warnings there. James has got Cott all over him as they run towards that first corner. Down the inside goes to Sauber, and it should be easy as you like for Cott, who will move up into the third spot. Grimio's closing considerably there on Cott, on Chaser, and will look to go for a move potentially in the next lap or two. And the Wars pack of 5 has now quite quickly become two leaders and a pack of 3 at this point. Lan also there in P6, controlling that position, but again, not really closing in as much as he was, or at all at this point. He's down 6.7 back. Webbsy 4.1 behind Landlord, and 10th Cannon right behind him. Flying Duck and JB going out for P10. Pope still stuck there in P12, but closing in is the second half behind Curtis. Now the Alpine, of course, is driving without an end plate right now. Has to be reminded of that. Slide from Pope, you can see it there, big chunk missing from the right side of that front wing. Grimio fastest lap once again. Could we see a lead change this time? DRS is deployed. No overtake being used. Both cars are about half their tank of DRS at the minute. But Grumio has the pace advantage there. Breezes past Che. Call as you like. Into his turn 1. Grumio retakes the lead. James retakes P3. And Imrie almost 2 seconds back from these guys now. With a lot of work to close stuff back in. Not to mention that penalty. James and Cott are the ones who are really racing for the win right now. As of right now, Grumio is in 3rd place on the board, but in the lead on the road. Che just over that 3-second margin. Now James is 2, so Grumio right now back in P1, and it's all going to depend on that gap between James and Grumio coming into the race. Of course, James, if he can keep him within that 3 seconds, is in prime position to win this thing, and obviously. And he won't take the lead of the championship here because Lando is now scoring points, but he'll close that gap he'll close it massively there in comparison to what it was. But he has got Cott to contend with behind him. Of course, Cott knows how to get to top step here in Mexico. He's been to that podium before. Alvar penalty there for multiple warnings. There's just 8 drivers in this field right now who don't have penalties. 2 of them crucially being the lead pack. Grumio setting fastest lap on the fastest lap. Can't be stopped right now. And he wants all 26 points, and as it stands, he'll be on course to get them. But we are still halfway through this race. The first game of 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Cocked in 7 James will retake P3. That's got Curtis behind him. Pope's over a second back right now. Lando in P6. He starts closing a bit more on Imrie. Now he's got no DRS to hang on to. Websy down the inside of the 10th cannon into turn 1. Websy retakes the place. Flying duck passing JB. Curtis looking on JB into 1. I can slow both cars up and give Pope an opportunity to close in. Not in DRS just yet, but I imagine we'll be in the end of this lap. The detection point comes at the end of the chicanes, or half in the sort of brief break between them. 3 S's, sorry, that's the one. I always the chicanes, I mean the S's. There we go. Now I know my vocabulary again. And Websy's leading through those S's right now. And Flying Duck 3.7 behind these guys. With the penalties, there's a bit of a slide there. And Cock gets a penalty now for multiple warnings. Well, this leaves James in a good spot. He'll be on course to take a place or 2 off of these guys in front. Pope warning too. Pope penalty as well. That's just 6 drivers left now without penalties. As James reclaims P3, but crucially that gap he's looking for now is the gap to Grumio, which is he's now sitting right now. He's about a second out of position to try and win this race. But plenty of time for him to get a penalty as well. So don't count out that conclusion yet as well. And obviously if Grumio was to get another one, that will obviously make his situation a bit more dire. And that would put him down to P4, Imrie being the first car who wouldn't gain him that. But of course Imrie has his own 3 penalty to think about. But Grumio though is now cleared Che by a second and a half. Is in control of this thing right now. Lando still closing, 4.3 back from Imrie at this point. What was a top 2 is now coming to the top 1. It's Grumio who's controlling this thing. As the sun starts to part the clouds a bit, we'll get a bit of blue sky down this main straight for the first time today. Of course, qualifying the weather was fantastic for it, but the race started under the wet conditions, dried quite quickly, and now we're back as we were, more or less. Cott making the move on James once again. Websy again on 10th count. These guys are going at it continually for position. JB leads the train. He's got Flying Duck right behind him. Duck to the outside of the racetrack. Let's go the long way around here. JB defending the inside, but that'll help him. A yellow flag, and that is when the Aston Martin's going slow. That's the test gamer round. And the first real spin of the day is courtesy of the Aston Martin of Obsessed Gamer. So the rest hasn't particularly gone his way so far. No damage to Aston Martin, so he'll carry on. Ethan P18 right now, he's got Red J, Courtney and Alvar in front of him as well as Ben. Those 5 guys all going for position number 14 on the racetrack. Courtney Goblin came very close to running into the back of one of those two leaders there. Ben maintains the place. Reggie there around his teammate. Ethan P18 right now. Obsessed game into the pit lane here. That's making a change. Tyre wide onto fresh set mediums. That put him a lap down. Reggie penalty there. Nearing the halfway mark of this race. Cannon again passing up to yellow flag on the main straight. Again, that's Obsessed Gamer just letting those guys through easily. So it may see blue flags. So Grimmy pulling away here. At this point, looking to clear Che. Of course, those guys are going to equal penalties, so that there's no impact there. They're racing for position regardless. But Grimmy pulling away here. I'm really getting out to that advantage. I imagine we'll probably see one more stop for these guys towards the end of the race. Of course, the safety car in the second half will really spice things up. Ben's in the pit lane here, medium tyres going onto that race car. Soon Grimmy will try and take as long as he can, perhaps to run on soft to the end. Another yellow. I'm not sure who that is. Looks like Pope has got problems of some kind. He's going quite slowly. He's recovered. He's down to P13 here. Not a fantastic outing from us all today. Yellow flag again for the back. That's Red J. He again kept it running. Grimio still in complete control of this race. 2.5 to go here. We're at the halfway stage of this Mexican Grand Prix. Still a long way to go. But it's starting to look now like the sort of Grumio clinic we used to expecting, and the same sort of clinic that Sainz put on yesterday when he won this race for Ferrari. But this race it will still be Ferrari power that dropped him at the podium, but it will be in the Haas machine. Grumio on the prowl for, as I say, his 7th win of this season. He'll be looking to take 4 of the last 5. Past the halfway stage now, on to lap 19. Che has some work to do here, but he's got James with the company behind him, and Cotter's closed in too. Just keep an eye on these guys, they continue to race position. But James obviously will be in P2 right now, but if he can just take that place outright, and he's very close now, so he's close back in on Grumio. So keep an eye on these guys later on in the race. And Pope's out the race. He's retired in the pit lane there, calling an end to it. I suppose he's not happy with the car as he's been driving. So unfortunate, but after 19 laps, our first DNF of the race, a pit lane retirement for Pope. Really hasn't been his day today. And the proposed charge to the field perhaps didn't come to fruition in the end. Hopefully we'll see him back next time out in Brazil. Che under pressure. It's still James now in a net first place. So he's just closing back in. Those hard tyres doing their job as James closes on Che here. Will he look to the inside of the racetrack? He's looking the long way around. Che will defend that outside lane. Caught hanging on to these guys. Imrie is still in P5 and look who's closing in. Landor 3.7 behind. Websy and 10th Cannon struggling at it. Obsessed Gamer right behind them. We've got a front row seat for whatever these two guys choose to do. Curtis, JB and Duck all together right now. P9 to P11. Down in P12. Ethan 13th. But Duck, as it stands, set to take both those places because of the 6 seconds that JB and Curtis have. Emery gets hit with another penalty. Landor at this rate, if he can keep it steady and continue closing in, we could see him scoring potentially even a podium in this race if he can really close that gap anymore. James, though, wants a way around Che. As you can see, both cars are closing the gap to Grumio. And could that mean we slightly start to see this race close back in a bit more? On to that 21. The gap now between James and Grumio now less than 2 seconds, as James now looking at the lead of this race. Got to keep it under control though. He can't sit there and say he's got his one yet. 10th to the inside once again. And 10th Cannon continues to impress. Still going back and forth with Websy. These two really going for it. .15 laps to go and Grumio across the line here. And that gap staying a bit more constant now, but these two will continue to duel behind. But James can't concern himself too much with what's going on back there. But I don't think that's much choice. Cott comes in for what most likely be his final pit stop. Up to another set of medium tyres. And could this be potentially the start of the last round of pit stops as James gets passed by Che towards turn 1. But regardless, it doesn't matter because James is still within 3 seconds of both cars. That's what he's looking at right now. 10th and Websy now race for P5 in the order. Yellow flag, first sector, that is Red J letting three cars around through. And Red J now be able to fight obsessive position number 17 in the order. Landlord passing flying duck, might try and take it to 2 more cars here. Around JD, can he get Curtis too? Going to pull to the inside, and I can't even say this. Triple whammy for 3-time champion Landlord up into 8th place from P11. That was fantastic to watch. Of course, he's made his stop already. Unless they go to the end of those tyres, but keep an eye on Landlord, the championship leader, who, as it stands, looks to still be leading the championship coming into the day. Only just by less than 10 points, I'm assuming, by this stage. In comes Grumio. Oh, and he's overshot it. 10 seconds for Grumio for speeding in the pit lane, and he's gone a bit too far there. And I don't think he can serve that immediately. I think he has to wait to serve that. He has to wait to serve that. They'll probably be protecting on his time at the end. Medium tyres going on. He's got a lot of work to do now. And he's away. You hear the tyres squeal as he regains control of the car from the AI, makes his exit, and he will be a man on the mission for the next 14 laps of this Mexican Grand Prix. He'll rejoin in front of Cott, who's got, of course, got his own penalty to think about. But Cott all of a sudden in with a big chance to get another place. 10 seconds for Grumio. That's a big loss of time. Che, James, Imrie, all staying out of that lead pack. Those guys staying out of the race from the hard tyres for a bit longer. There, I assume they'll put a pit to mediums. Those tyres will be a bit fresher come the end. Lap 24 of this thing. Here comes James again with DRS closing in down the main straight. Red J3 is compounding for multiple points. That's Courtney Golden behind these two. James now takes the lead outright. But Che perhaps not willing to let him have it. The Red Bull team versus its sister team, which is outperforming in the championship. But Che, multiple time race winner this season himself, knows what to do to get to the top step of the podium. It might be a tough job for him unless James gets his own penalty. If James gets one, then Che's in with every chance of winning this race. But it'll come down to see where they emerge when they make their stops. Grumio is 3.5 seconds back from 10th Cannon and Websy. Those two drivers still vying for that place. They've been going at it all race long. Oh, around goes there. That's the Martin Webstead's gamer. And that'll save him having to let Grumio and Cott go like Reg just had to. Yellow flag, obviously, for Reg J. He's slow getting away. Unsure what he's doing there. Lap 25. Yellow flag again, and that looks like an Alpine round. That is Curtis, who's gone. Recovers it. Dan back in the points paying places now. Che takes the lead from James into turn 1. These guys are closing quite fast here. It's a big opportunity for him to move over. The blue flag's being shown there. And Che as much as close as he can as possible off both off of that Ferrari. Keep him in front of James for a bit longer. Imrie now in P3, of course, with that 6 second penalty, and I imagine still another pit stop to do. Yellow flag again. Curtis around in quite a dangerous looking place there, and he's only just managed to get away in time to keep Ethan from hitting him. Both cars in the pit lane here. It's close on both of them. Yellow flag again. That's Ben off the circuit, and everyone's struggling now on their current tyres. No need for a safety car or anything like that. Normally quite used to seeing one of those by this point in the race. Of course, the safety car, the last thing drivers like Grumio would need right now, because Grumio would drop big points if everyone was bunched up together. He'd need to go for the lead and just pull away as much as he can. But of course, he can serve that 10 seconds at a pit stop. I believe you can't serve it on the safety car. Going down the inside of the 10th cannon there. So we're getting himself amongst that fight. Cott with the fastest lap. Can Cott try to overhaul Grumio on track as well? DRS, big DRS and Webster here closing and pulling in front. 10th won't follow him through for the minute. There goes Cott inside of both cars. And Will Webster lets his teammate go. His teammate who's racing Grumio position. We'll get DRS off him. So does Grumio. So time lost there, but of course I'm sure Cott's not talking about it too much, given that big 10 seconds. They're sitting there on Grumio's timing. Gaming James here, the only driver in the top 5 with no penalty to his name. When do we see James and Che coming in for their final stops? Or do we see a final stop from them at all? It'll be quite a gamble to do the rest of the run on those tyres. They've already almost done 20 laps. Both cars stay out again. Grumio closing the gap to Imrie already here. Grumio knows medium tyres on a bit of a charge. Ben, 10-second penalty for corner cutting there, but he's just... oh no. Looks at this means if he's just missed the pit lane and got a penalty for it. James got Che right on his tail here. Yellow flag, first sector. Again, blue flags in play for those guys. That is Ben letting those guys through. Grumio still P4 right now. And nobody much risk to lose a lot. Imagine that will probably change when we see, if we see that some of their last stops. So it looks like James and Che hold another form quite nicely at the minute. We'll keep an eye on these two as they continue to duel for the lead. But of course, Che knows in himself that he can't really do anything right now unless a penalty comes into play for James. And if it does come into play for James, then all of a sudden it's go time for both cars, and that'll be for the win. Make straight again, lap 28. So 8 laps to go across the line. And I doubt these guys can go 29, 30 laps on their tyres. Che though, doesn't seem to care, he's going for it. Red J penalty. And Grumio now closing on Imrie. Make the pass, yellow flag, Ben out in the pit lane. Well, Grumio now up into 3rd place, but the question is, how much further on could he push? In order to win this race, he needs to push on and gain about 22 seconds on where he is right now. And Imrie and Cott go at it again. Cott with 3 seconds less than Imrie. Oh, a slide there. Slight tap between two drivers who are fantastic at racing each other. Yellow flag, that's Ben's car. Come back on the circuit. Shane James still staying out. I'm starting to think these guys are going to the end on these tyres. They know that perhaps Grimio can't build that lead, but if Grimio does catch them, they then can't pit. James reclaims the lead. These two have got to keep it under maximum control in order to win this. In order to win this race, because Grimio's coming. He's closing in by quite a way here. Gap's already down to 8 seconds. So Grimio needs to close that gap, get out of DRS range of those two leaders, and then build 13 seconds. It's a task, and one that I don't think he'll be able to complete in 7 laps. It'd take an absolute master's drive to pull that off in the time he's got left. As it stands right now, Landau down in P8 at the minute, which is enough to maintain his championship lead. James is stands scoring 25 points for the win. Lalord is scoring 6 points. Sorry, excuse me, he's scoring 4. So that gap will go down just a few points. Flying duck in the pit lane. James's teammate calling it a day. 3 cars out of the race now. And on the inside again. And Pope now within 7 seconds. The more these guys squabble with each other, is there more chance that Grimio closes that gap faster? And how long is it until Grimio's tyres hit their cliff? Because he's done 7 laps on them already. Alvar, 3-second penalty for him. Only 5 cars still running with no penalties. One of them crucially being our outright race leader James. Our on-track race leader, Che, still controlling things. But a James penalty puts Che in the catbird seats. All James has got to do is maintain that 3-second gap and not run himself off the circuit. He can rely, he knows himself he can rely on that DRS. It's going to be wide there. No penalty for him. Will likely be preying on any mistake he might make. And Grimio will definitely be preying on it behind, as will Landlord. An opportunity to try and take points off of those guys, off of James in particular. You can see Grimio in the back of the picture now, 5.5 behind at one stage, but DRS now puts him 5.8 back. James reclaims the lead. He's still a good pace. He's doing an excellent job. Maintaining things, keeping that car under control, avoiding any penalties. What a race this has been. Five laps to go here when James crosses the line. Grimio 4.2 back. How well has he managed those tyres? Has he managed them well enough to ensure that he can still try and push on? Yellow flag for Obsessed Gamer, letting the Alpine of that's Alvar through. Lap 32. Che again closing that gap and pulling to the outside. These two going back and forth. And neither one of them can really hold a lead for any more than a lap or so. And Imrie's got I mean, I'm sure that impact damage. So he hasn't prepared that all racing. 10th Cannon is closing that gap, as is Websy. So we could see 10 potentially nabbing P5 at the flag here, and she could take it. She could potentially take it for the end of the race. Look at how long these guys have been on those hard tyres for. It's been a gamble. Look at that, 24, 25 laps for those. For in terms of cars in the top 10, 7 of the 10 cars in the top 10 have gone for the one-stop in this race. It's paying off. The penalties in the case of Che and James for Grimm's penalties definitely helping in that case. Yellow flag. Curtis retired for the session, and that's a safety car, a late one. That's all of a sudden thrown it into chaos. And that was, I don't think we could have a safety car any later than that, and that will be costly for the guys with penalties, including Grumio. Soft tyres we go on that car. Do not mess up your pit entry now. That is the crucial thing. Last thing you want is 10 seconds. You don't need to take them. Oh, caught avoided the pit wall there. Emery has 10th right on the tail. 10th, we could see her with a podium finish, potentially because of these penalties. Soft tyres for Che and James. Grumio, I think, serving that penalty first. And then making the change. Yes! So he could serve under the safety car. He's now away. I'll tell you what, he needed that. Mediums for Websy. It's a difference to the rest of the field. Landlord pitting onto soft tyres. Would already be in the Haas pit. Luckily, not impacted JB because the distance was between them. And all of a sudden, James looks to be in prime position to win this thing. As if he wasn't already. Connie Goblin drive through. He's been caught by the Delta there. You can see the brake smoke as he practically locked up to stop that happening. He's been narrowly caught by the Delta. We got the majority of the field onto soft tyres now, with a few medium runners in there for good measure. I imagine we'll see both Ethan's in. I imagine we'll see Connie Goblin in too. Alvar making the change to soft tyres. What's going on? He's away. Only Websy looking at the mediums for this restart. This restart that will end the race, I have no doubt. And I think, I'm not sure if the Wednesday can't come back in, but it's enough to bring this pack back together again. I think it'll be out for no more than one more lap. And then it'll have to go to racing or get us a 2-lap finish. And remember, crucially on that lap, there'll be 2 DRS zones to think about. One of them will be going, or sorry, this will be one DRS zone. It'll be going into the stadium section because the detection point is before the end of the last lap. It's before the end of the lap where DRS gets deployed, enabled, sorry. 3 laps to go in this race. Che leads the way. James in second. Curtis out the race frustratingly for him. Gone from P7 appearance in Q3 to a retirement, unfortunately. So tough break for Alpine. With Alvar penalties, short position changes. You may not score any points. He's got 12 seconds to his name. Well, there is your position gain across the race. Landon's getting the most of 11. So there's only 2 drivers that are still running who actually lost places in this race. Grimmer's lost 3, Emery's lost 4. Can they get him back on this restart? It's always by this point that not everyone will close back up. Red J and Obsessed will get to be part of this last restart. They'll race each other on the back. In terms of penalties, Red J got 21 seconds. I'd say he's almost on the verge of being disqualified in the game if he's not careful. A few cars who will most likely miss out on the safety car restart. We said before we got going that a safety car would definitely spice this race up. We almost always get a safety car in Mexico. It's come, it couldn't have come any later. I think if they crossed the line for lap 33, that might have been it. They might not be able to call one from there, simply because there wouldn't be enough time. But Che backing everyone up. There are your penalties. Tyres mean nothing. Everyone's on fresh softs except for Websy, and except Websy is on fresh softs, and Obsessed got his softs a few laps old. But the penalties are the crucial situation here. Che looking to win this race. 10th Cannon, you never know, could potentially nab her first win in the RDL as a reserve into their second start. We could find out here. Che leads them back to the green. 2 laps to go here in Mexico. They're on the way again. And everyone getting right to it, wasting no time. They're on the gas, they're on the lap pedals towards turn 1. Grumio and Cott side by side. Grumio looking to try and win the race on track, getting as many points as he can here. Che is under control here at turn 1. There goes Cott looking for position off of James in the first couple of corners, trying to get the soon-to-be potential race winner out of shape. James keeps his nerve and maintains the pace to get back in front of Cott. There goes Grumio looking around. Grumio to the outside of the racetrack on Cott, looking for the place. Big slide there, close to contact. Cott slides, almost goes in front of 10th. Both cars maintaining their places right now. Che's got a lap and a half to try and pull 2.5 seconds. That's going to be absolutely tough to do. I doubt he'll be able to do it. It'd be an absolute clutch final lap if he did that. This looks like James's day, but anything can still happen. There's still over a lap to go. And there's also DRS coming into play. Is 10th Cannon looking potentially at a race win if something goes wrong to James on this final lap? If he gets out of shape or gets a penalty, 10th will be in a position to try and claim this thing. She's within 3 seconds of the lead. Che will bring them round. 1 more lap to go. The bell lap here in Mexico. Here they go. 1 more to decide it. James not closing here. No DRS in play for the minute. So Cannon to the inside of Cott. Looking to advance on the leaders. Bit too deep there, but held her line. And is in prime position to win if something happens to James. Che's pulled 1 second. Reg has got a penalty. Keep an eye on that race control bar should it appear, because if James gets anything, then that'll be game over for him. And that means he's racing position with Grumio. So we come down to how control he can keep himself in these last couple of corners further back. Lando looks to take major advantage too, but he may wind up with about P4, P5 in the end of this one. Depending on how close he is to these guys. Grumio's going to lose big points this rate. Red Jade on a penalty there. It looks as though this looks to be his day. 12th of August, that was the last time James took the checkered flag as a winner in the RDL. That was 11 rounds ago in Canada. But if he can navigate this last corner, which he'll do with poise, Che will run to the line and win the race on track. But it won't be enough. Gaming James takes the flag. He wins in Mexico. 10th Cannon, unbelievably second place into their second start on the RDL. Websy home in 3rd. It's another podium for Sauber. Che 4th. Landau 5th in the end. Grumio 6th. Cott 7th. Ethan 8th. Daniel 9th. And Imri will nab the last point on offer. JB 11th. Alvar 12th. Courtney Goblin 13th. Obsessed Gamer 14th. Red J 15th. I think Cott is totally over the line. P6 of the flag. But Che in the end didn't. Che in the end only just got a point. I'm not even sure the penalty wise. I have to confirm the results there. But wow. James wins it then. He's been waiting a little while for that. I'll be sure to let him know the of the timing there when he does join us for post interview. I assume he'll join us this time. But let's celebrate the game. We're back in just a moment for post-race interviews. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Time now for post-race interviews at the end of what was a fantastic Mexican Grand Prix and our first welcome into Contra Rocks Red J. As a chaos getting to the race, mate. There, talk us through it from your end, because obviously you were right there amongst them.
Yeah, that was a really, really hard race. Didn't enjoy it too much, to be honest. The first lap was absolutely crazy with the rain and stuff like that. I just had no grip. I think I was one corner cut away from getting a disqualification towards the end. Yeah, just not really a very, very good race. But I mean, there was some good battles towards the back of the field, which was kind of good. And then seeing the results at the end as well. I don't really know how it's going to kind of pan out in terms of, post-race penalties and stuff like that. So perhaps the top 10 could change. But we got a point with Cottony, which is good. Dan did really well, obviously getting into Q3, and then also I think he finished 7th or 8th in the end. So I mean, if those results stay as they are, I think Aston will overtake us. So yeah, frustrating obviously in terms of that, but it'll be interesting to watch back the race replay. But yeah, it wasn't really an enjoyable race.
I mean, I can imagine. Obviously, I think we always saw the. You think you racked up 21 seconds at the end of it, if I'm not wrong, or were there any? Cause I think you got a few more restart.
Yeah, 21. I apparently I did the level overtake on Avla, which I don't think I did. But to be honest, I mean, because of how irrelevant the positions were, because me and Obsessed Gamer finished a lap down, there's no points in like contesting whether that penalty should get removed or not, because ultimately I finished a lap down, so my position's not going to change. So I guess take that away and you're looking at... Well, no, actually, because when I pitted for the second time, the -10 got took off. So yeah, plenty of corner cuts. Not great, not a great track if you're on a controller, which is what I am. Brazil is next, which is a much more enjoyable circuit, so I'll look forwards to that and just pretend that this race never happened. But then also, I mean, in terms of the actual top 10 as well, good to see a few different people finishing up there. Obviously, I think 10th as well finished in second, which is absolutely ridiculous for a second race. So yeah, but it'll be interesting to see. Ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, what I care about is the battle between us and Aston Martin. So it'll just be interesting to see after any changes tomorrow or Wednesday how exactly Dan and Cottony finish.
We'll have to wait and see though. I mean, well, good on you for making the flag, and hopefully Brazil goes a bit better for you next week. In terms of the next interviews, for the first time we're feeling quite well. We've actually got all three members of the podium in here, so we'll take great enjoyment in this. And we'll come first to our race winner, James, who, mate, finally, it's taken a little while, but you've finally got that fifth win on the board. Talk to me.
I'm just ecstatic. So I'm like, I knew I was getting the win, basically in like lap 42 or something like that, with the penalties and all from Che. But then once I saved the car, it kind of scared me a wee bit. So it did, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I thought if I long as I drive consistent, still I'll get it. But I love that wet start. So that saved me probably.
Fair enough. I must ask you, were you close to a penalty at all at any point during the race? Because obviously, if you got one, that would open it back up to Chase John, win the race.
And no, I think we only had one warning actually. That's quite good in that, so it was.
I think you're one of 4 or 5 drivers to end the race without a penalty to your name. So congratulations on that. And of course, you closed that gap to Lando in the championship. I know I've asked you recently in the last 2 weeks, is this championship still on? I think now I can stop asking you because it is game on now with 5 races to go.
Yeah, full beans out. So like.
In terms of Brazil next week, we're looking perhaps to go 2 on the trot. Is this the start? Is this the start of the return to form for Gaming, James?
And again, like hopefully, like I love Brazil as a track so much, but I'm not sure how good I am at it. Like.
And that has to be a question that has to be answered next week. We'll see what you've got compared to the other guys around you. Of course, you had a fantastic race with some of those guys across the race. In particular, Che, Grumio. You and Grumio went back and forth there. What happened between you guys?
Oh, yeah, he was trying to push his way past me. I just wasn't having it today, so couldn't care if he wanted to pass me in the first lap or whatever. Just try and keep him behind mainly. Gotta do better tires. Like.
It felt almost Verstappen Lando-esque from literally just yesterday. But
yeah,
luckily, no one got any.
Racing, I was like, oh jeez.
Luckily, the only penalties had out between you guys were, in terms of major penalties, was Grumio getting 10 seconds for speed in the pits. So luckily, nothing major happened between you two. But congratulations on the win, and perhaps we could see you go back to back in Mexico, and we got in Brazil, sorry. And we now got to come to our second place finisher, 10th Cannon. Your second race, you're already on the podium, and I think we can all say you probably didn't see that podium come with 4 laps to go until that safety car came out.
Yeah, I honestly can't say I saw it coming either. I thought I was going to get the top 5 maybe on the day, and I was going to be really happy with that because I don't think I drove a good race at all. But I mean, you take what you can get in racing, so I'll happily take a second place.
I've got to ask, were you sat on that last lap just hoping and praying that maybe, just maybe, James might get that penalty, and then from there you take the win? Because you were in range the whole time on that last restart.
Sort of. I think my mind was more focused on trying to make sure none of the Saubers passed me because they were quite fast at the end, and I felt like they would for the entire restart they were in range of making a less than optimal move and either taking us both out or just passing me, which for them I guess is good, but for me not so much. So I was focused on trying to keep my position, which I did.
Only just, and of course, Websy gave you a fair bit of the fight. That went on for the majority of the race. Yeah. You guys really went at it, so props to you both. Of course, 5 more rounds to go. Do you reckon we'll see any more reserve appearances from you? And will we see any more races like that?
I hope so. I don't really have any intention to leave. Unless something happens and I get booted out of the server, which I don't think is going to, but I'm just happy to be here, man.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, you've done fantastically these first 2 races, and I'd say there's opportunity for several more good starts come the end of the season 17, and perhaps a full ride for season 18 is incoming. We'll have to wait and see there. Well, congratulations on your first podium in RDL, and we'll come now to the 3rd place finisher, Websy, who also jumped into the podium in the later stages thanks to that last safety car restart. Websy, I mean, I assume it must have been a bit of a sign of elation for you as well, given the penalty situation around you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a great end. Obviously not for other people, but for us, and obviously the ones without any penalties. So I just had a bad. I had a bad start. Well, I had an all right start, and then I got behind. Curtis, and then Curtis was kind of holding up. I couldn't overtake him on the straights, but then I was just behind him constantly, and I ended up being 6-7 seconds behind. I wish, to be fair, he would have worked with me, kind of thing, where we could have done what me and Cannon did, and we just literally overtook each other. We didn't kind of mess with each other too much. We just kind of tried to get speed out of each other as much as we possibly could. But no, my fuel was on the edge when the safety car came out. My tyres would have made it to the end. I didn't have any issue making it to the end. But I did want a safety car, obviously, because it was just with the people having. I think Sav was coming up behind me about four seconds kind of thing behind with fresh mediums, and then obviously Cott and Grimmy overtook me, and it was just kind of I knew that all them lads kind of thing with having fresh tyres, I had no chance. So the point was just let them by kind of thing and let them carry on racing. But I think the only race that I had between anyone today was probably between me and Cannon. Really, I was just gonna kind of keep it nice and until the last 2 laps, and then would probably go at it then if you will. But no, I had a good race. I didn't really make any mistakes apart from that the getting 7 seconds behind in the first kind of 4 laps. I definitely had the pace to keep up with the top crew, but. Once you get out of DRS here kind of thing, you just keep going backwards, don't you? So, but so happy with the result. I wasn't expecting 3rd kind of thing. So no, I had a great race with Cannon as well. So no, GG to everyone, and obviously GG to James. He had a great race as well.
Well, obviously, I did want to go further, of course, with the fight with Cannon. Now, of course, Websy, when we think about it here, you're one of the 4 legends on the grid. Today was your 314th start. Have you ever had a reserve come in just their second race and keep you on your toes like that?
When you get to my age, you actually stop remembering. But to be fair, I think with myself and Can, we was just at the same pace kind of thing. And no, he's come in and to get on the. I mean, just so you know, Can, I think it took me 2.5 years to actually get onto the podium in this league. So. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I was, I might have had a lucky couple or something, but, hey,
It took me a couple of years to get this fast as well, but
yeah,
I mean,
no, it's just this league is just a good quick. It is a quick league kind of thing. You make one mistake
is.
and you're punished. So no, but from where I used to always be a kind of a 13, maybe an 8th, maybe a 10th. But lately, in the last couple of years, my pace has just got a lot better. I don't know why it's got better. I'm doing exactly the same as what I did, except the car seems to be going faster. So I can't give anyone any tips there. So yeah, it's been a while, but I'm kind of when I get podiums here now, hopefully it's maybe not as far apart than it ever used to be, kind of thing.
Fair enough, and of course, last one, just quickly, just looking at Brazil next week. Of course, think about this time around 12 months ago when we went to Brazil. There was a slightly worse off ending for you. Do you reckon we'll see hopefully a bit less that this time around? I'm obviously referring to the season before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we had a bit of an incident. I think obviously I had a chance of winning. Was it last year? I had a chance of winning the league. Was it last year?
Season
yeah.
So this race almost.
Yeah. And that was mainly not because I was fast. It was mainly because I was just relentless of just getting points in, if you will. And yeah, we had it was a bit of a do, and we came off, and it was just one of them things. But no, I'm looking forward to Brazil. There's no kind of pressure. Obviously, there's only pressure on the top 3 at the moment, kind of thing. So I'm just like Miss Daisy, just going out for a good day out at the moment, and until the league finishes, and then think about next season.
Sounds good. Well, congratulations on the podium. I think that's your 4th one of the season. And we'll come now, last of all, to JB, who's patiently sat here throughout the other 4 interviews we've done. So, JB, thank you for waiting. I mean, you were right there amongst the pack today, mate. So talk me through things on your end.
Yeah, I had some good battles with Curtis and Websy at the start, and then Websy kind of zoomed off into the distance, and it was just me and Curtis pretty much the whole race. And then I don't know what was going on, but 3 different people spun directly behind me, including Curtis, and so it looked like I was on for a good result. And because 10th is the reserve, I would have finished 8th or maybe 9th. Dan was close to me before the safety car came out, and then unfortunately the safety car means I think P10. But it was good racing, and could definitely have been a lot worse.
Fair enough. Of course, that late safety car threw everything into chaos in the end. I saw you say in the chat, 2-lap sprint. Who let Michael Masi in the control room? I mean, did the RDL control room not have better security than that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why the game does that. It's annoying because it causes issues with penalties and things. So if someone wants a penalty removed, then it can really ruin the race result. So these sort of late safety cars are kind of frustrating, but then again, they give us great results, like we see with 10th and Websy. So good race. Could have been a little bit cleaner at the front from what I hear, but you just gotta appreciate it that it wasn't any worse.
I mean, we'll let you guys in the studio room handle that when we get around to it. In terms of course, next week's race in Brazil, we're looking for a good run there.
I like the track. Normally quite good around there. To be honest, I was meant to see if people wanted Brazil to be the finale. Oh no, we've got the Portimao one, so that doesn't matter. No, Brazil's good. It's quite high downforce, and it's just a classic track, which I think everyone's familiar with. So should be some really good racing there. Looking forward to it. Well, good stuff again from all you guys. Thank you guys for coming along to the post-race interviews, and that'll do us for tonight's racing here in Mexico. You can join us next time out at the Brazilian Grand Prix Interlagos on the 4th of November. Same time, same place, 7 PM UK time on the ZachRC channel. Make sure not to miss it. We got a hell of a championship fight going these next 5 rounds, and there's battles
all over the grid. Who will emerge victorious next week? We'll have to find out then. I've been Zach RC. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Don't come back.